All right, folks. I don't know if I'm going to hear you guys today. I don't know. I'm trying something new today. I'm trying with just this. Where's my connect? I don't know if it's connected or not. I don't think it is. I don't know, guys. Wow. What the heck was that? Here we go. One trip today. One delivery. Good morning, everyone. I know it's a little choppy until I get over to the main road, so I will try to reduce my conversation. It is 40 degrees. Anybody see that? I did. I don't know what happened. I didn't feel a bump. I didn't feel a bump, but I heard something. So maybe he just like hit the side of the tire. I had a dog that did that one time. I remember one time when I was young. Okay, all right. You just said, okay, here comes another one of his stories. But here's what happened. I mean, I was really young. This was the first dog I ever had, right? So I'm probably like 8, 9 years old. And he ran up the street. This might have been before we got fenced in backyard. Ooh, there's some deer over there. Deer in the cow yard. And I'm jumping all over the place. Okay. So, the story is, cows are up. Okay, let me just make sure we're going to have a good... Before I do this story, let me just make sure we're not too choppy. So the cows were all standing up, by the way. We have changed the clocks. Today's the first day back on standard time. So, it's going to be a little brighter today, I think. It is 7 o'clock, which would have been... What? No, it's not 7 o'clock. It would have been 7 o'clock, but it's 6 o'clock right now. I just realized the clock in the truck is still saying 7 o'clock. So, Yeah, so I'll be getting back closer to what used to be 8. So I think it'll be a little brighter out. I guess that's good for the morning. I personally don't mind standard time. Most people prefer daylight savings time, but if you're a morning person, it's kind of standard time is kind of better. Most people are not morning people, so that's probably the reason for the preference, popular preference for daylight savings time. But that just happened. And apparently, Bob and Jen started, they got to the bakery this morning like it was a normal day, like they hadn't changed the clock. So they are an hour ahead. I think it's when they realized I wasn't there, and they're like, yeah, shouldn't Craig be here now? And then they realized. But I think what they did was they relied on they get up at 2:15. Actually, they only get up like 15 minutes earlier than me. But I think they probably just roll out, and go right to the bakery. The sky's really pretty. The sky's very pretty this morning. But their alarm must have been set for 2:15. And even though their clock does automatically update itself for daylight saving, when it goes back to the standard time, or maybe their alarm clock said, no, I think they said 2:15. It hadn't updated yet, so I think you got to update the clock. Maybe they have it for 2 o'clock and it wasn't updated yet. No, I think that might be what it was. They just missed it. So the alarm went off, they got up, and they thought it was a normal day. But they didn't move early. Tried to clean that spot on the window for you guys. I don't know if it worked. Got to stop and get some gas this morning on the way back. Still there. He didn't take his Halloween decorations down yet. That was very weird. That truck that just pulled off is now just driving behind me like it wasn't going super slow, so he's staying up with me. I think that could have been the deer guard. I'm basically driving ahead of him. So I wonder if he wants me in front of him so that if there are deer in the road, I'll be the one to hit them. You think? Should pull over at the next spot, let it pass me, and then we'll just keep playing leapfrog. Drifting back now a little bit, so I don't know. It was a little strange. So anyway, the animal this morning, I don't think we really killed an animal this morning. It was a tiny little thing, so it was either maybe a small rabbit, maybe a chipmunk. It was small, but I didn't feel like a bump, so I don't think we ran over it. I think it maybe just bumped into the car. And what I'm visualizing is one time when I was young, I had my first dog ever. Well, we had a dog when I was little, really little, like from the time I was born. They had a dog. You know, my parents had a dog, but I wanted to have my own dog. So, like when I was, I don't know, 7 years old, something like that. You know, finally my mom gave in. I'm like, I'm gonna feed it. Of course, she probably did end up being the person that fed the dog the most, but I'm going to feed it, I'll take care of it, blah, 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 blah. So we get a dog, my first dog, in 1972. And so I was born in 63. So I would have been probably 8 years old. Yeah, that was it. I was probably 8 years old when we got this dog. His name was Schroeder. And I guess we didn't have a fence yet, but anyway, he's outside. He runs up the street in front of my house, which now is like the major entrance to the neighborhood. Like everybody uses it today, so it's a pretty busy road today. And it was busy, but not crazy back then. So he's out, I'm playing with him or whatever. He runs up the street. Maybe he got out of the fence because I remember we were sort of like running after him because he hadn't left the house. So he either got off a leash or he got out of the fence. And now that I think about it, I think we did get a fence before that. So he probably just got out of the yard. I see him running up the yard. He's running into the street and there's a car and he's running. It wasn't a deal where he was running across the street and the car was there. He was sort of running parallel to the street, but starting to go into the street. And he did hit the car, but he kind of just like bumped into the tire and kind of rolled with the tire for a second. And then it pushed him off to the side. The car kept going and he's like stunned, laying on the side of the street. He was fine. I don't remember taking him to the vet. I don't think he was bleeding or anything, but he definitely learned a lesson. We all learned a lesson. We learned to keep the fence gate closed, and he learned not to run quite so close to a car in motion. That's my story. So that's what I think happened to the rabbit, chipmunk, or mouse. Whatever was on the road this morning. Police just went by. I put my cruise control on because I don't like when I'm on this road and it's just me. Not that I speed a lot, but I speed a lot. No, I don't. But it can kind of creep up on me, so we'll be cruising it along at 63 miles per hour, 63 miles per hour in a 55 mile an hour zone. Chances of getting a ticket are very slim. Not none, slim. November 2nd already. Something on the side of the road up here on the left. What is it? What is it? Oh, it's a mattress. Maybe on the way home we can take a nap. And how does that happen? Did somebody dump it? Did it fall off? Things you don't know. And maybe somebody got home and they're like, oh crap, where's our mattress? But you would think if you did that, you would drive back to find it. I had that happen to me recently with my Fitbit. I have a Fitbit that I wear, but I wear it around my ankle. I do not wear it around my wrist. For a couple different reasons, but it gives me more accurate step count on my ankle. And sometimes, like if I'm on a treadmill and I'm working at my desk, my hands aren't moving like they would when you're walking. So you don't get it doesn't count all of your steps. Or if you cut the grass, it thinks that you're mowing the lawn because your hands are on the lawnmower. So anyway, so I wear it on my ankle all the time. Well, the band was getting a little loose. I mean, the connection from the band to the actual little Fitbit device. So one day it fell off. I didn't know it, and I just walked outside in the neighborhood a little bit. When I came back in, I noticed I didn't have it. So I went out retracing my steps, and it was in the road. So one spot where I sort of like picked up the pace a little bit, get across the street, it fell off. So I did find it. It had clearly been run over by a car. It was still working though, but it had been run over by a car. I guess that was the connection I just made to my story about Schroeder. And I realize it's difficult to follow. What else was this? Oh, I wanted to mention yesterday. So yesterday's video, I haven't posted it yet because I tried out a couple things, right? I never got the text, and it's not working today. So the text to speech, which would allow me to hear what you might type into the chat. Unfortunately, I thought I turned it on when I left the bakery, but I don't think I did. So I got to get that process nailed down. But yesterday, what I thought I would do is, because I was wearing my headset and I didn't want to lose the connection between the phone and the headset, the Bluetooth connection. So I thought, oh, I'll just put the phone in my pocket. You know, you won't be able to see anything, but when I go into the buildings, when I'm making my deliveries, you'll be able to hear it. I mean, which is kind of stupid, but if I'm talking to somebody, you would hear it, which that did happen. But also, my phone would stay connected to my headset, and I thought that was part of the reason why I wasn't hearing the text, I thought it dropped the Bluetooth connection and didn't pick it back up. Well, that's a long way of telling you the story. Having the phone, deer on the road, ooh, that one had the beginning of an antler. When the phone was in my pocket, it was horrible. It made noises. It was like, I didn't think about that part of it, right? I'm thinking you're just going to be like riding along in my pocket. And if I talk to somebody or whatever, you might not be able to see it, because I wasn't going to carry the phone around and like, I'm not going to be one of those people that like looks like I'm filming myself everywhere I go. So I just put the phone in my pocket, and it was making all, like imagine you're taking material and rubbing it together by the microphone of it sounded horrible. And you could kind of, like when I stopped, there was a guy was talking to me in one of the spots, and you could hear the conversation. I mean, that was okay, but I was like, yeah, it's just, standard. Hey, what's going on? How was your Halloween? Blah, blah, blah. He was kind of talking about people, somebody had called in sick, a girl had to cover 2 spots, it was crazy there, and all this other stuff. So the lesson I learned from that, though, is it is not acceptable to put the phone in my pocket. That's not going to work. It makes noises that, like, I couldn't even stand it. I was watching it and I'm like, ugh. If I had been watching the live stream, I think I probably would have even switched to something else, because it's just not good. So I'm working on a solution to that. We're getting there. I've come a long way, right? I mean, we got Starlink, so the picture's better. I lose the connection less frequently. It's never going to be 100% because of the coverage on the roads. I think rural roadways are always going to be difficult if you're going through a thickly wooded area. I don't think there's a way, at least not today, not in today's world. I think the more satellites they shoot up there, the better, right? So like every time he puts more satellites in that Starlink chain, the better and better this gets. And I have heard that. Like when I'm listening to people who have been using Starlink for a while, it sounds like it's noticeably improved. Not day by day, maybe month by month, year by year, but it's noticeable the more satellites they send out. So, eventually it'll just block out the sun, and then, no, that's not true. That's not true. Where's that truck going? Have like it's gonna be totally sunlit by the time yeah, and I had a very long ride. I didn't live stream my delivery in the afternoon. I had a delivery to make that was 2 hours away, so I was on the road for 4 hours yesterday for one delivery. And I didn't live stream it for a couple reasons. I sort of did part of it at the end of the ride. I threw the Starlink back on top. I used my own car for that one, so I threw the Starlink on my car and did the finish of it. But I knew I didn't have enough battery left on the Starlink to make a 4-hour trip. I did have the cable, but I didn't. That's what I mean. I didn't want to like set all that up for that ride. Plus, I still can't. I got to tell you, I can't listen since I can't listen to the radio if I'm live streaming, which isn't awful. There's two things I used to do all the time on these rides. I would listen to the radio, obviously, or I'd listen to a book or a podcast or something. So since I was concerned about the audio aspect, I didn't want to. That's the guy that. Oh, I bet you he didn't. I bet you he woke. This guy's never usually here. I think he's the owner, and I bet he didn't set his clocks back. He's not usually here this early. That would be funny. I wonder if they're going to be there. Let's give him a minute. What do I have at the card? Because I got to get gas on the way home. I didn't look at the prices. Did you guys look at the prices? We'll see what Highs is. But Highs is always the highest. The cheapest place I can get gas is definitely BJ's. All right, let me call these folks. Hang on one second. I don't know if it puts you on hold when I'm using this software. Boom. Boom. What did they get me? Beautiful, beautiful. Did you hear that? He's coming. All right, I'm going to go do that. Go get... Boom, boom. Okay, stay there. I'll be right back. Can you hear me coming with that rack? It sounds like a train. So that car's not the owner. It's Andy's car. Hold on. We had a few more trays today. Big order, big order. Surprised they got a lot of that stupid tray. 126 downloads today, 126. I'll be right back. Trays. Why I can't set up this speaker. It's irritating. Why? Let me look at this and see if I can get it. There it is. When I click that. Ooh. There is messaging. Somebody asked, Craig. I can hardly read it. It's so small. I think somebody asked what state I'm in. I'm in Maryland. Maryland. Let me see. So maybe this will read it to me. I don't know. We're going to find out. All right, I might have just tried to put my car keys in the van. Here we go. Okay. Successful delivery. We got 0 people out there. I think that maybe Morning Craig, what state are you in? Yeah, somebody asked me what state I'm in, but I wasn't. I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear that. But it might be working now. So if you come back, you know what, I think I'm going to put email address or something. I mean, if I'm going to do this right, I need to be able to communicate, you know? trees. We had a very windy day last week. Some trees really lost a lot of their foliage. You know, highs, the last couple days, they have not been showing the price of their gasoline. Maybe they just jacked it up so high they don't want people to know.
probably not feeling the same way about deer right now.
yesterday, the whole Wendy's thing, if anybody was watching yesterday, I stopped by to say hi to the people who were in line for Wendy's. And it was a very nice crowd, but I was kind of shocked it wasn't getting the attention I think it needed. They should have had a news crew out there. I mean, I tried to pull my weight, but there should have been they should have had some other publicity. I mean, I think just a sign out front is not going to do it. Thought that was a police car. Thought he was getting out to tell me to pull over. I gotta tell you, a little concerned about that one, but it didn't happen. It did not happen. Did you all see that? Because I have to admit, I've got this guy behind me, so I am going a little bit faster, but oh, here's the question. That light just turned red. Am I going to have to take the cruise control off? Or, boom! Through this thing. Nah, I think we got to stop. We have quite enough time. Oh, we're not even going to have a rolling stop, man. This is going to be a stop. Perfect timing, too, right? Watch. Boop. Oh, yeah. Yesterday, I clicked on a video of a delivery driver, a guy and I think I've seen this one before too. It's this guy that drives around. I think it's somewhere in California. Oh, there's the mattress. Anybody want to take a nap? I think he is in California, and I'm not sure if the site is some kind of. Oh, wait a minute. What's it called? Some kind of, it looks like a food restaurant or a food, some kind of bird, something bird, just bird chef or chef bird or something. But it's, so, because when you look at the other videos, like the videos that are on, most of the videos on the site are like recipes and stuff, so it's a very weird mix. Of course, I think people could say the same thing about me. If anybody looked at my driving videos and then they looked at my channel, they'd be like, all right, this is all about dogs. The guy drives a truck. What's going on? Or drives a van. But I was watching it and it took me a minute to realize that it wasn't live. Like, because I was kind of late last night. I got up. I think I took a nap at some point. I got up, and I did, because I had that extra long ride in the afternoon, and I was like, so I took a nap, and when I got up, so now it's late enough, and I'm thinking, I think it should be dark in California. This is what I was thinking to myself. Like, I'm watching this delivery truck ride around, and I'm like, this just seems weird to me. And then I realized I was watching, like, it was a live stream earlier, but this was the video after. I'm like, I get it. Field of Screams. I wonder how long. Yesterday while I was driving, I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan. He was talking to Elon Musk. That would be kind of interesting. They always have some interesting ideas. But this whole thing with AI, they were talking about AI a lot. And it's gonna, I think that as that starts to really get big, man, it's gonna make some big changes. Like, I mean, really, in hindsight, like the whole internet did, right? Like, you couldn't imagine doing this stuff. $279. Yeah, I think BJ's would be better. But yeah, like, you know, when I was little, I was amazed by a calculator. Like a calculator that you'd buy at Radio Shack. Does anybody remember Radio Shack? Come on. That was like the 70s version of Best Buy. So we're going to be buying gas today for $2.62 per gallon. Not bad. Stop sign is not for me, by the way. I was a lady, favorite lady. So yesterday, you know, it was a good day. I mean, it was a nice trip and all that kind of stuff. But I was like underwhelmed by the excitement level at Wendy's. I mean, it was nice, and the people there were very, very friendly. They're very friendly. I took them. What I'm gonna do is just make a clip out of that and put it in my videos, just so people won't have to look through a two-hour long drive to get to the right spot. I did have a little. I did take the camera out of the van when I was at my first delivery spot. I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I'll tell you about it now. If there's anybody listening, don't hold me to this. But here's my thought. My thought is, I don't know if I want to make a clip out of this or not, because it's kind of silly. It cracked me up when I watched it, but I don't know if it would have the same effect on other people. So I was taking the trays. And I can't believe this happened. The first time I took the camera out and I put it, you know, on the tripod, you know, because it's like takes me 2 seconds to pop this tripod up that I bought. I didn't even bring it today because I was so disgusted with myself yesterday. So I set that up. I'm like, hey, here we go. I'm going to delivery. And this was also the day that I put the phone in my pocket. So those two things just didn't have the excitement level that I was expecting either. So I had the camera set up. It's facing, you know, you're seeing me take the trays out, and the rack that's on wheels. It looks like I reach in the van. I put like I'd already put 2 or 3 trays on the rack. I get in, I'm leaning in to pick up the next tray. Or no, I think I had it in my hand. No, I did. I definitely had it in my hand. And I turn around, and the rack is starting to roll away. Oh my God. It was just so stupid. It was so stupid. So I did sort of drop the tray that I was holding, but it landed on it. You know, everything was fine. Everything stayed on its, you know, the tray just was landed. It shifted, you know, they slid a little bit, but I didn't lose anything. And, which was very lucky. Because I was sort of caught in the middle of trying to put the tray down in order to grab the thing before it rolled too far. I told Bob when I got back to the bakery, I'm like, he warned me about that, but not that particular setup. He said if you're using, like if I'm using the side door, and which makes sense. If I'm using that side door to the van, I can just prop the rack up against the rear view mirror on the passenger side. It just sort of holds it there. Because their parking lot does slant down a little bit. But the tray was like, this was at the back of the truck, or the back of the van. And it was sitting next to the van. I'm like, but yeah, it would, I swear, a ghost or something grabbed the thing and just pushed it. This looks so ridiculous. And that was before I went to the Wendy's. You know, that was the first stop. So I'm like, so dumb. And then I had the delivery in the afternoon, and that delivery went great, but it was just a long day. It ended up, when I got home, I was like, okay, I'm ready to just like lay down. AJ was happy to see me. We hung out for a little bit and then just took a nap. I woke up and did I take it? Yeah, I did. Took a little nap, then I fed AJ, then we laid down again for a little while. There's the skeletons. Squirrel was sleeping. They're very, very trusting little things when they lay in the road like that. I mean, if you're going to take a nap, it's a bad spot to do it. Something in the road up here. What is that? Bird. Wow. He waited until the last second. I think it looked like he was picking apart something that had been eaten. This is like, what was the show that used to be on about nature? Animals. Animal Kingdom? No. What was that show called? Wild something. I mean, this is like years and years ago. Whenever you'd see something like that, where you had a natural event occurring, which was, if you break it down, it's kind of ugly. What was that show called? Hey Google. Sun right in our face. Oh, Sunday morning. It's the awe of the earth. What's the name of that show? Hey Google. I don't think it works. Cows are up. Morning, everybody. Today I'm going to have to figure out how to change the clock on the van. Right now it is 7:10, but the clock says 8:10. Lone cow. All the other ones came over here. No, I'm not going over there. Oh, we got that. Ooh. Wow. One brown cow in the middle of all those black ones. Sundays, I don't think they have anybody come in until 8. And it's not really 8 o'clock. You might think it is, but it's not. Oh my, oh. Oh, all right, folks. So, Kim and Craig, what's the guy's name? He sent me messages a couple times. His name's Craig. He's a nice guy, and I feel bad because I've never heard his message while I'm on. So, I feel bad. I feel bad about that, but I will make it work. And one day, I will talk to my new friend, Craig. All right, folks. I am signing out for the day. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Have a great one. Enjoy November the 2nd, 2025.